gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Pigskin Thursday. And what a great show we have again tonight for you on this Pigskin Thursday. I mean, we're going to have all our Week 10 picks. We're going to talk about the upsetting defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had at the hand of the New Orleans Saints. And we're also going to preview the Carolina Panthers game coming up this weekend. A reminder that in about 20 minutes, we're going to have the great coach out of Tampa Bay, Coach Marvin Bell, will be joining us live to talk Buccaneer football. This is an interview. This is an episode you do not want to miss. Just a great conversation with Coach Bell. Want to remind you all why we start the show, that there is several different ways to get in touch with us. And we want to make sure that you do those. Let's first start out with YouTube. You can now watch us live on YouTube on Frankly Speaking Sports. You can also join our Twitter account, Twitter at Larry Frankus. That's with the U.S. at the end. So we want to make sure that you join us there as well. And, of course, on Frankly Speaking Sports at our Facebook group. So lots and lots of ways to contact us. Also, we do want to let you know that tonight's show is an interactive show. We have a comment section. Please feel free to leave as many comments as you like. Let us know who you are, where you are from. Also, you can call in. As long as you call in when we're not doing the interview, of course, we will go ahead and answer your call. We have one line here. So when one person exits the phone, another would be able to call in, and we can talk about any of the highlights that you want to talk throughout the year of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or the unfortunate lowlights that happened last week at the hand of the New Orleans Saints. But either way, we are here for you. Join us. The number is there. That's what we're here for. But before we get started with our typical Pigskin Thursday show, we want to go ahead and take a moment, to recognize someone very dear to our heart, and that's, of course, is going to be manager Kevin Cash of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of the Tampa Bay Rays. Want to thank him as he won Manager of the Year in the American League. Could not think of a better manager, a better coach that deserves to win this than Kevin Cash. So congratulations goes out to our skipper of the Tampa Bay Rays, Kevin Cash, on Manager of the Year. Now, as we look back, at game on last Sunday. Obviously, not a pretty game at all as I try to get everything worked out here. But, if you're watching the game or had an opportunity to watch this game, it was not a pretty game. To say the least, it was an ugly game. But, what was more uglier than the actual performance on the field had to be a lot of things that went on after the game, off the field, from coaches blaming players, from, people making up things in the media, and so on and so on. And we're going to go over that stuff in a few seconds. But when you looked at this game, every facet of this game was terrible. Everything from the defense to the offense to the coaching to the, everything about the game was bad. The offensive line, the cornerbacks, the defensive back, the quarterback play, everything did not go well in this game. And we talked about this several times throughout the week, especially on Monday night. We talked about, this is a game you got to let go. It's a game you got to forget. It's a game that's over. You lost the game. You got beat on that night by a team that was much better than you, and you got outcoached. But let me tell you some of the things that have gone on this week that I'm really not happy about, that I'm listening to. And the first one is, the first part of this game that really upset me is the inability of our coaching staff not to adjust when things went sour. It just showed us very, very much in this game that we cannot adjust as well as other coaches in the NFL. Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles, the entire coaching staff failed this team with their inability to adjust to what was happening at the field and to adjust, obviously, at an adequate time. Now, when you break down this game and you look at this game, there's a lot of things that went wrong. Some people are saying, well, Larry, we only rushed the ball 5 times in this game. Yes, you only rushed the ball 5 times for a couple of reasons. Number one, you were down 21-0 before you can blink your eyes. And here you are panicking, thinking that in order to win this ball game, you got to run a 2-minute offense or a no-huddle offense to get back into the game, which was completely wrong. So basically what you did is you allowed the other team the rest of the night to know you were throwing the ball. And not only that, you made your linemen exhausted by having to protect against the pass the entire game. And if you know anything about football, when you deal with offensive linemen, and they will tell you, sometimes on the passing plays, your first step is back. So all throughout that game, they were on their back feet and their heels instead of pushing up front. And it had to take, and I'm not making excuses for an already not so great offensive line play, but, you got to look at the facts in this game. A lot of people saying, well, Mike Evans, Bruce Arians, and we'll talk about him in a minute, opening up his mouth and getting into it saying, well, Tom Brady, Mike Evans was open plenty of times. He wasn't just targeted. No, Bruce Arians. The reason why he wasn't targeted is because if you watch the game and you watch the replay of the game, which I know you did, you would see that Tom Brady didn't have any time to really target receivers because he had so much pressure on him the entire game because the offensive line was not holding up. Now, I understand Ali Muppet was not in that game. Joe Haig was playing, Joey Haig, and he was playing next to Donovan Smith, who, is an average at best right now offensive lineman. But, those guys hadn't played together. They haven't done these tricks and stunts that you're supposed to do on the offensive line because they haven't played together. But at the end of the day, the reason why Mike Evans was not targeted is simply due to the fact that Tom Brady did not have enough time to find him. It's not that the fact he wasn't open, it's the fact that Tom Brady didn't have enough time to go ahead and see him. Want to welcome our friend Tommy Laverone, for our buddy from Temple Terrace. Thank you so much, and we'll get to your question in a minute. But, a couple other things in this thing. I don't like it, and I said it week one, this calling out of players. And Bruce Arians, for some reason, to me, doesn't have enough gonads to go up to his players in private, and tell them what's going on. So he has to use the media somehow to get through to him, which I completely and totally disagree. Also, if you listen to the media this week, and we're going to get into this topic in the next 10 minutes, and I'm going to hit on it real hard right now, is I could not believe myself listening to the media, and I'm not just talking on local radio stations. So when I say media, folks, I'm not talking about the great WDAE radio here in Tampa Bay where all our friends work. I'm talking about the media as a whole. The media just completely did a turnaround on the Buccaneers because of one game, and that was it. The season's over as far as the media is concerned. Antonio Brown, this is the one that got me. Antonio Brown has already ruined this team in 1 week. Is a load of total crap. I will say it now, and I'll keep saying it. Anybody that can believe that Antonio Brown has come in 1 week and has ruined the chemistry of this team and the offense of this team has nothing, does not know anything about the game of football, and it is ludicrous. It is ridiculous. I cannot believe I am hearing my ears when people come out and say this. Antonio Brown has done nothing but been the ideal player since he's been here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if you hear the coaches, listen to the coaches about how he's been since he's been here, they would tell you that. But no, the media has to blow this out of proportion. And every time something happens with this team in a negative fashion, they got to find someone to blame. If it's not Jameis Winston, it was Donovan Smith. If it's not Donovan Smith, then it's got to be Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown had nothing to do with this loss. That is crazy, stupid, and whatever else. Okay? Antonio Brown is not hurting this chemistry of the team. This is a team right now that is banged up. Your job as a coach is to go out and get the best possible players you can get so that you can win football games. And that's what Jason Light and Bruce Arians did with the pickup and acquisition of Antonio Brown. And if anyone can't see that, you're being silly and foolish. Silly and foolish. And this guy is the right guy to get. Godwin's been banged up. Evans has been banged up. Scotty Miller has been banged up. Grayson has been banged up. Mickens has been banged up. They're all banged up, and yet you guys are complaining. Here they are, went out and got a top-quality receiver. Oh, well, Mike Evans might not see as many passes. Screw Mike Evans. If you want to see passes, get your butt open, and Tom Brady will get it to you. Okay? If you want to get passes, our offensive line has to block and give Brady time. Okay? There is enough plays out there in a football game for each receiver on this team to be targeted 8 to 10 times a game. No reason why they can't. But for somebody to come out and say something as stupid and silly as, Antonio Brown being already a cancer to this team is just ludicrous and crazy. Crazy. And, it's just, I just can't believe my ears when I hear silly, stupid things like this coming out of Tampa Bay media or any media, and I'm hearing this stuff. It is ridiculous. Okay, let me ask you this. Did Antonio Brown make Sean Button not cover well on defense? Did Antonio Brown in that game not make Carlton Davis cover passes against Breeze on plays in that game on Monday? Did he not make Jamel Dean make plays on Monday? No. Did Antonio Brown not hand the ball off to Leonard Fournette or Ronald Jones in that game? No. How the heck is Antonio Brown a problem? The problem is not Antonio Brown. The problem is us, the fans, having to blame somebody every single damn time something goes wrong with this team. You're not fans. You hate your team when they lose. You want to love them and kiss them when they win. That's not a football fan. Football fan is a team like Cleveland Browns fans, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. No matter what happens, you're with your team, win or lose all the time. And this crap about trying to blame somebody every time we lose a game has to stop. Antonio Brown deserves an apology, and he deserves an apology for the media member who I know who it is, they know who it is, who came out and called him out for being a cancer to this team. Now, I'm going to look at you all right now and say this. I can't justify or say I agree with everything that Antonio Brown has done in the past in his outside life out of football. Yet, that's not for me to judge. All I can do is judge him on what he does for this team. And all the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can do is judge him on what he does for this team. He is being hired as a football player. That is what he's being hired to do. He is being hired to play the game of football. They are not hiring him because he's a model citizen. They are hiring him because he has the ability to play a game that they are owners of, and that's called football. You look at other players in the NFL, they're still playing football. They've done a lot worse things than Antonio Brown has done. The Michael Vicks, the Ray Rices, the Adrian Petersons, just to name a few. The Ben Roethlisbergers, who has done more things, for all people to have to say something. How can Big Ben say anything? You got to think about it logically. And I'm done going off on this. I'm very upset about it. I think that we are wrong here, and we're taking the wrong avenue when you start accusing and making excuses for losing a ball game by blaming a particular player that had nothing except the fact that he plays on the team just like the other 60, 70 guys, whoever, that play on this team. One of our guests wants to know if we think that Byron Leftwich shouldn't be calling the plays. No, I don't think it has anything to do with who calls the plays. You can ask yourself in this one game, what happened? Why didn't they adjust? At the end of the day, the head coach is Bruce Arians. He knows everything that is going on the offense and the defense in this game. If he doesn't, then he's not an effective communicator with his coaches before the game and after the game. Bruce Arians knows what's going on. I don't think the play calling is the issue. Right now, there's a lot of issues. Number one, and we're about 3 minutes away from having the great Coach Marvin Bell joining us. And we'll have him on and we'll talk more Buccaneer football. But you got to also remember here, guys, our defense played terrible. Our defense, and I've been saying this, I went back all year, and I said it versus the Giants game. I said, this is a team, the Giants, that if you give them opportunities, they're going to have it to score on you and get points. Well, they did, but they didn't execute because Daniel Jones wasn't on that night. Came back and said if this was Drew Brees, he would pick you apart. What happens? Following week, Drew Brees picks you apart. We're all excited about a defense that we have, standing up here or at this height right now when they're only about here. They're an average defensive team that we're trying to say is an outstanding, unbelievable defense. This defense still has work to do, and the defensive work needs to be done on the passing defense side of the football. And if you're too blind to see that, I'm sorry, but it's been all year. This isn't a one-game situation. This is a one-game situation where the quarterback was on and he picked them apart because of the lack of pass defense that we have. We still have a great up seven. The problem isn't our up seven. It's our cornerbacks. And, we're starting to see Devin White get beat on some plays now as he does more coverage. We can argue and question the zone defense that they play. Why didn't they go to man-to-man where it would be a little bit, tighter coverage versus an unbelievable quarterback like Brees? Those are all good questions. But, unfortunately, we were unable to go ahead and do what we needed to do. As I'm looking here, we are minutes away from Coach Bell joining us. So I want to make sure he is on the line as I take a deep breath here for a minute. Sorry I got off on a tangent like that, folks. But in that game, that's exactly what you saw. Excuse me, folks. Gatorade. Brought to you by the Florida. I'm sorry. But anyway, to answer Tommy's question, no, I do not think that we need to change. I think the three keys of this game on Sunday is going to obviously be two of the main things that destroyed us in this game versus New Orleans has to be the offensive line play, and Ali Muppet is scheduled to be back. That's going to help immensely. So I think you're going to see Tom Brady have a lot more protection this upcoming Sunday than he had the previous week versus the Saints. That's number one. Number two, our defensive backs, our cornerbacks have to play tighter coverage and can't continuously get beat on the deep footballs and the short pass. Teddy Bridgewater is a similar style passer. When you look at Teddy Bridgewater, everybody has this mindset that Teddy Bridgewater is a running quarterback. He's not. He likes to throw the quick slants and the short passes, which really seem to beat the you-know-what out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And in order for them to go ahead and beat him, if they blitz, they got to be effective. Blitzing is only good based on the effectiveness of the blitzes. And if they come in and they're not effectively knocking Bridgewater down or stopping Bridgewater, he's going to just, boom, give that quick pass out. And they got the team out there. Remember, Mahaffrey, yes, is going to be not playing this week. I believe they got a backup named Davis who's been playing real well. But they got DJ Moore, They got Robbie Anderson, Emmanuel Samuel. They got some good receivers on this team who can do some damage. And remember, the Saints, although they are coming off a loss, they're coming off a very tough loss to the Super Bowl champions of Kansas City Chiefs. So, let's remember that as well as they move into this Sunday game. And let me see right now, my good buddy is on yet. I don't see him yet. Let me go ahead and give him a quick message. Okay. Let me tell him I'm ready. I'm not sure if I told him 9:20 or 9:30. So, in all fairness to Coach Bell, I'm not 100% sure what time I told him. So, let me... All right. And let me do that. Waiting. All right. So I might have told him between 9:20 and 9:30. Either way, we'll get him on. And then the other thing is, guys, we have to, the third thing I would say we have to do in this game, and I don't think it's a surprise to anyone, is we're going to have to establish the run in this game. We're going to have to allow, there's a lot of things that happen when you run the ball. The line has a different mindset. The line, uses different footwork, It's just a different way of blocking. And if you're consistently blocking backwards, you know how much harder it is to play on your heels than it is to play on your front feet blocking forward. A lot of linemen will tell you that. You have to be able to mix it up on this game, not just because of the balance of the plays, but because of the balance for the offensive line as well. Number two, they gotta establish a line presence in this game, like I said. Their offensive line has to come out on fire. They're going to have to rip people apart, throw people around, open up some nice avenues for Ronald Jones to get some yards. I mean, obviously they didn't play any role in last week's game. I think that'll change up, and you'll see a lot more running. And second of all, we need to get a lead in this game. As you get a lead, you get a 2-touchdown lead, possibly more, then you can establish the run even more because now your game plan is changing a little bit. And when you get this lead and you get a nice lead, you start going from throwing passes and throwing touchdowns to what they call managing the clock and managing the game on the field, and you start running the ball more. But you have to also be able to, get third down conversions. I think in the first half, they missed 6 of 7 third down conversions at one point in a row. 6 of 7. So basically 6 of 7 times you're out there, it's 3 and out, and your defense is coming back on the field, which is a very tough way to play a game and to keep your, defensive line fresh. So that is definitely one of those things we'll have to watch for. The other thing, and you got to say 3 things is, but you got to win the turnover battle too. I think one of the things you got to establish here is you got to force at least 1 or 2 turnovers, grab a forced fumble, grab an interception, and when you say win the turnover battle, don't lose the turnover battle. In other words, if the team is not fumbling the ball, the team's not throwing interceptions, make sure you're going the same way at it. You're not creating fumble. You're not having any fumbles, and you're not throwing any turnovers. And I think you'll see that Tom usually comes back, has a really, really strong game, and I expect nothing but anything different than Tom Brady being the great Tom Brady that he is when he plays this Sunday. Do want to remind you all that we do have a call-in number. Obviously, we have a comment section. Leave your comments. We'll get to your questions. The call-in number after, and I say after the interview with Coach Bell, is 813-922-9810. Once again, that'll be 813-922-9810. You can call us up. You can ask us questions. Get on the show. We'll be more than happy to go ahead and answer any of your questions you may have. So please go ahead and interact, get involved. Also, for those of you that are on right now, we're about 30 seconds from having the great Coach Marvin Bell joining us. For those of you who can just take 1 second, pause a second, and share this to your timeline. Not everybody gets the opportunity to watch Frankly Speaking Sports or watch crewforlife.com and get to see the great Coach Marvin Bell, who comes on usually on Sunday or Monday nights, depending on what time the Buck games are, whether they're prime time or not prime time. But, this is a treat. Anytime you can get this gentleman talking football with you, you've done something right. Because when it comes about talking about football, talking about X's and O's, and talking about players and the mindsets, nobody does it better and talks better about it than Coach Marvin Bell. And we are definitely privileged tonight to have the great coach joining us live from the Tampa Bay area. Coach Bell, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm good, Larry. What's going on, brother? I'm doing well, man. Doing well.
I'm doing well, too. Coach Bell, I got to ask you this from a coach's perspective.
Yes, sir.
Tough loss Monday night. I don't think Sunday night, excuse me. It goes without saying. As a coach, when you're 6-3, you beat Carolina on Sunday, you're 7-3, still a darn good record. After a game like that, where you cannot pick out any asset of your game that really went well, what do you say as a coach to the players?
Guys, we took one on the chin. They knocked us down, but they did not knock us out. Winning the NFC South at this point is probably not going to happen, but the goal to get in the playoff and hopefully make a Super Bowl run is still there. We left the game without anybody getting any major injuries, so we're going to go into the Carolina game, hopefully get Ellie Marpet back. So, you just try to pick out some positives, that there was no injuries. We're still in good shape as far as getting into the playoff. And so all is not lost. And it was a bad game, offensively, defensively, all the way around. And you just throw that one away, man, and focus on Carolina and moving forward with the season. That's all you can tell them.
Well, let me get your opinion on this, because this is something that's been bothering me since Sunday night, and I'm sure I'm not the only one to hear of it. And I try not to listen to everything I hear, because, there tends sometimes after losses, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans get a little over dramatic at times, to say the least. And I'm hearing now, it's been a terrible thing. How could they bring in Antonio Brown? He's ruining the chemistry of the team already in 1 week. We have too many good receivers. There's not enough throws or targets from Michael Evans. See, I was taught differently growing up, and I want to know about your opinion as well. But I was always taught, if anybody's out there that can help the current team you have, that you make the move to get that player to help you out. And I think in this case, and tell me if I'm wrong, Coach, we have some banged up receivers. Michael Evans, I don't think is 100% healthy. We know Godwin's not healthy. Scotty Miller's been hurt. Grayson's been hurt. Obviously, we know that O.J. Howard's out for the rest of the season. For these fans and media people that are coming out with all these outrageous things, and I went off on the first half of my show on these guys, am I wrong by saying Antonio Brown? I only care what Antonio Brown does for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the field. I'm not going to sit here and justify what he's done off the field, but right now, based on us bringing him in, we brought him in because of an objective and a goal we have, and that's to win the Super Bowl. If he helps us, we're great. If not, of course, people are going to second guess us. What's your opinion on all this jibber jabber going on out there?
Well, people are always, they hear Antonio Brown, and they know that he's the same guy that was sent away by the Steelers, the same guy that did not make it with the Raiders, the same guy did not make it with, with the New England Patriots, the same guy who still have these allegations of sexual assault on his hanging over his head. And so a lot of people, it's hard for a lot of people to separate personal from football. And so, they know he's a great player, but it's always going to be that but he's not a good human being. And a lot of people, they're not going to be able to separate that. No matter how much he can help this team out, And again, I agree, Larry. We get a chance to upgrade your team, man. You have to do it. You get a chance to bring in a talent like an Antonio Brown, and you have a quarterback who really is vouching for this guy. I mean, you have to bring him in. And what you do, you don't give him any guaranteed money. And that way, if it doesn't work out, like Aaron, like BA said, if it doesn't work out, he's out of here. And so you have to, anytime you get a chance to upgrade your talent, man, you have to, man. And like you mentioned about the injuries, Mike Evans, not 100%. Chris Godwin, not 100%. Justin Watson, you forgot about mention him. He hasn't been 100% this year. Scotty Miller's always banged up. And so we don't want to go into position like, remember at the end of last year, our number one receiver was what's the guy name? He's with the Jets now. I can't think of his name. Number 19.
Oh, Perryman.
Yeah. Brashard Perriman. Brashard Perriman was our number 3 and number 4 receiver. Then Godwin got hamstring. Evans got a hamstring. Scotty Miller had a hamstring. And so now Brashard Perriman becomes our go-to guy. And he did well enough to, end up getting a good contract with the Jets. But we don't want to have to go down. This is our year, man. This is the year. The window is open. And the window may be open this year, maybe next year. After that, man, it's going to be time to find us a new QB. So they get a chance to bring in a talent like an Antonio Brown and hopefully get this thing done this year. You'd be a fool not to bring him in, and hopefully it works.
Now, all season long, and everyone included, and I've been talking about the defense, and I always said I like the front seven. But everybody's been raving except, and I'm not saying except me, like I'm some guy that has a crystal ball or anything, but I said if there's the one area that we need help on, and I say it week after week on my shows, I said it's been against the pass. We're eventually going to have that one quarterback that comes in and just picks us apart. And we saw glimpses of that where it really showed, I think, the first time this year was that Monday night game versus the Giants where Daniel Jones had a lot of opportunities to really connect on a lot of passes, but it wasn't because of our tight defense. It was because of his inability to hit the open men. And then what happened the next week? And, I'm not going to sit here and say Jamal Dean's terrible or Carlton Davis terrible or Bunting's terrible. But I've been saying week in and week out that I think we're getting a little overexcited too quickly on some of these guys. And now we're starting to see, that throw Devin White in different coverages that, he's not accustomed to. And in some of those, he's played very good defenses. They made great plays, but we're starting to find out where the weakness is in this defense, and it doesn't mean it can't be corrected. Let me make sure I preface that. But if there's one area that we really need to be hurting in right now, it has to be with our cornerbacks covering the passes out of from the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I was listening to Todd Bowles' press conference, and he was talking about on that touchdown where the guy was wide open. And that wasn't a physical mistake. Like nobody just ran by someone. It was a breakdown in communication. Now, my concern is why are we still having breakdowns in communication in the 9th game of the season and second year of the system. We talk about, a breakdown between and the reporter said, oh, is that between Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jamel Dean? And Todd Bowles said, no, actually it was a third guy involved. And I'm thinking that third guy was the safety. But he said it was a breakdown in communication because all the Panthers did was motion a guy out to the play side. And that motion confused them, just a simple motion. Now guys, forgot who they were responsible for. And I think that's inexcusable. These guys are professional athletes. They watch film. They study. There's no reason why there should be a mental or a communication breakdown that allows a receiver to run wide open like that at this stage of the season. It's ridiculous. Preseason, I can understand. Maybe a first game of the season, I got you. By this time, there should be no breakdown in communication. So somebody either is not getting coached up or some coaching is not doing a good enough job of communicating to the players where they should be. If they motion to your side, this is your responsibility. You have the first receiver, you have the second receiver, you have the third receiver. I mean, all that should be communicated. And that's inexcusable to me.
Yeah, and if you look at this game also, we're talking about the defense. We can talk about the offensive line, which obviously was banged up without Ali Marpet there. But, one thing that I think a lot of people are missing the boat on, and I don't know if maybe I'm thinking about it the wrong way, but one of the biggest avenues that cost us that game was the inability of our coaching staff to adjust to getting their butt whooped quickly and not making the proper adjustments, or you may say making them quickly enough where it could have an impact on that game. And, we can say we only ran the ball. And you and I know in order to win, the formula has to be a lot more runs than we had. That goes without saying.
Right.
But when you talk about adjusting to this team, they started out, I believe it was with a zone defense. I don't think they ever I don't remember seeing them even play man-to-man in that game to tighten up maybe some of the coverage. And also, when I used to talk to offensive linemen, like people like the Alan Marpets or the Ryan Jensen, and you may know more about this than me, Coach, but they say from an offensive line standpoint, there is a big difference on your body staying in pass coverage all game than mixing it up and run because of the way your body is presented, where you step back on a pass to block, whereas when you're running the ball, you're pushing up front and, all your power is going forward. So this is a game where I think that coaching really didn't do a good job. Not only didn't they do a great job, they didn't do a great job taking accountability for it either.
Yeah, I was kind of, I listened to Todd Bowles' press conference with the media. I listened to Byron Leftwich's press conference. I listened to BA's press conference with the media. First of all, I thought the media was very, very soft on. I thought the media should have ate the behind up. I thought the media should have came at him a little harder. Basically, everybody just said the same thing, the company line. Yeah, we just got to watch film. We got to get better. We got to learn from this and just move on to Carolina. We got to get better. Hold up. Before we move to Carolina, I want to talk about this debacle that took place on national TV the other night. That would be me if I was a part of that, media asking questions. And Todd Bowles said, hey, we tried man. I don't remember a lot of man. He said we tried man. We tried zone. We tried bringing pressure. He said nothing worked. Then I listened to Byron Leftwich. They asked him about, hey, since Tom was getting pressure so quick, why did you go to the short passing game, which is what Tom Brady had a lot of success with at his former team? And basically, at the end of the day, it boils down to the trenches, brother. If you win it up front, if your offensive line is whipping the defensive line of the opposition, you can run the ball, you can throw the ball, everything is going to work, okay? And vice versa. If your defensive line is whipping other opposing team offensive line, there's nothing they can do. It's going to work. And it comes down to their offensive line, pretty much dominated our defensive line, and their defensive line pretty much dominated our offensive line. So all the battles with one of the trenches were all favoring New Orleans. And I wrote this down, man. Listen, in big games like that, your top players, your key players have to perform. If you look at the Saints, look at their key players. They stepped up. They made plays. They made plays. Our key players on offense, who are they? Mike Evans, he had 6 targets, 4 receptions, 64 yards. Chris Godwin, he had 6 targets, 3 receptions, 41 yards. Gronk had 6 targets, 1 reception, 2 yards. AB, we just acquired 5 targets, 3 receptions, 31 yards. Ronald Jones, 3 carries, 9 yards. Fournette, 1 carry for 0 yards. That's pathetic. So we had nobody on offense that really, really stepped up and played well. It's very hard to win when you don't score touchdowns. You had the ball first and goal from the 1, and Leftwich just said nothing worked. That was his that was his answer to the reporters. They said he had first and goal on the 1-yard line. He had 4 tries to get it in and could not get it in. He said, yeah, nothing just worked, just one night. I'm sorry. That's a piss poor response. First and goal from the 1. You get 4 Christ and can't get 1 yard. So I wasn't happy with the way, to me, the coaches did not take take accountability and responsibility because they were out coached so bad. It wasn't even funny. It wasn't even close how badly we were out coached on Sunday night, man.
No, and I agree 100%. And remember in that either first quarter or first half, Coach, there was a point in that game where I think was made one third down conversion in like 6 tries.
Yes,
We were 3 and out the rest of the time, and that's not a winning formula too. But when you talk about, and yes, I understand you and I talking, saying, okay, this is a game you put behind you, but you still have to learn from it because you're going to be playing a Carolina team that took the former Super Bowl champs to the brink this weekend in Kansas City. And, for some reason, everybody has this mindset that Teddy Bridgewater is a running quarterback. He's not. He's a quick, short pass type quarterback that'll kill you on those short passes. And then his guys have the ability to get big gains off those small passes. And, if we don't fix that type of defense on these guys, don't think that Carolina is a pushover team.
Nah, I think the Bucs are smart enough to know that Carolina is not a pushover. I know what their record is, but this is a very dangerous team, man. Bridgewater is very smart. The offensive coordinator, he has ties to New Orleans. That's why he wanted Teddy to come and be his quarterback. So now they're playing good ball right now, man. I watched the game Sunday when they played Kansas City, and it was a very, very competitive game, man. And but it's gonna take the Bucs, man, really, really, truly putting it together because they played a bad game against the Giants. Only because the Giants are so bad. Bad teams find a way to lose and good teams find a way to win. And so the Giants found a way to blow that game against us up in New York on my Monday night game. And I told people if the Bucs play against the Saints like they played against the Giants, we not gonna just lose. We're gonna get our doors kicked off. And I'd be darned if it didn't happen. So hopefully the Bucs will go for a trifecta. Hopefully we won't have 3 bad games, 3 bad performances in a row. And if those guys have the pride that I know they have, they were thoroughly embarrassed, man. You get beat, by that score on national TV, 38-3. You kick a field goal, pretty much had they not kicked the field goal, they would have got shut out. They would have never scored a touchdown against the Saints. So that field goal kept us from being shut out. And they have pride, man. And I think they're gonna come back Sunday and play well. I really, really think they're gonna play well Sunday in Carolina. And I think they're gonna find a way to get it done. I think it's gonna be a close game. It may be a Ryan Suckup game where he comes in and kicks a winning field goal. That's how close I think this game is going to be on Sunday. But I think the Bucs get away with about a 3-point win at the end.
Do you think the mindset of this offense is to come out Sunday and forget about proving to everyone else, but do you think they need to make a statement to themselves saying, hey, we're good, we know we're dominant, we got to get out there and we got to prove it?
Yeah, because, the first part of the season, the Bucs were outscoring their opponents in the first quarter. But the last 4 games or 5 games, whatever it's been, we've been getting outscored by the opposition. So I don't know what's happening, but whatever we did the first part of the season, we got to get that back. We got to get off to a fast start. I think it's important for our confidence. Listen, man, the Bucs fans like myself, I've been watching the Bucs in 1976. We just seen this show before, man, where we get our hopes up so high. And we just want to believe that this is the season. Like, this is it. Like, this is going to be the year. And then the Bucs go out there and lose to Chicago. Then they come back and they'll lose a horrible game like they did the other night against the Saints. So as a longtime suffering Buc fan, yeah, we're a little skeptical, man, because we've seen this show. We want to be excited. We want to say, okay, we're going to be okay. But the Bucs, they just sometimes, man, they just make you just shake your head like, are you kidding me, man? Like, really? Are you kidding me? And so hopefully, man, they'll get it together and we'll go on a little run and string some wins together and get back on the winning streak. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping anyway.
Coach, you never want to see a team get blown out, especially your own team, like we did at home. And I asked this in a weird way because no coach likes to lose, but could it be a blessing in disguise? We're here is week 9 week that we lost this game. Okay, we still have 7 games left. Maybe we needed something to bring us back down to earth to let us know we're not as good as we think we are yet. We have the capability and the ability to be good, but we still need to come in and day out and put in the work so things like this don't happen again.
Absolutely, man. It's a song by Kendrick Lamar. The song is called Humble. Okay. And so that should be our theme song, man. Humble. We're now, if we weren't, we are now humble. We have been humbled. And now, a lot of times, man, when you lose like this, man, you talk about getting your attention. The coach will have to yell and scream now to get your attention. What just happened Sunday night should have everybody in our locker room's attention. I don't care if they're practice squad players. Even the practice squad players got to pick up their play in practice and preparing the starters for the game on Sunday night. So everybody should pick up their game, because right now, man, because when you lose like that, people start looking around and say, okay, where can we get better? And that's when people start losing their jobs. Okay, I'm telling you, man, I've been watching this a long time. When you lose the game like that, now let them come out Sunday and don't play well Sunday. Man, you talk about finger pointing, and that's what I don't want to happen. When you're winning, and say Mike Evans is only getting 5 targets when he's used to getting 10 to 12 targets, Mike Evans would be okay if he only gets 5 or 6 targets Sunday against the Panthers and the Bucs come out with a W. Let Mike Evans get 3 targets, 4 targets, and the Bucs lose. And yeah, that's when you're gonna start seeing issues. But hopefully, man, this team will come out, like I said, they have great pride, and I'm expecting them to come out and play well on Sunday against the Panthers. I expect them to bounce back. But yeah, man. But sometimes, man, a bad loss is just what the doctor ordered.
Before I let you,
that's how it is sometimes.
Yeah, before I let you run, Coach. And I know we talked about bits and pieces of it, but if you have to think of a couple of key factors that we need to have in Sunday's game to prevail, what would they be?
Number 1, we must get off to a fast start. We cannot fall behind 7-0, 10-0, 14-0. We cannot do that. We have to get off to a fast start. I am praying that we win the toss for a change, and that we kick off to start the game. I love when we kick off to start the game and put our defense on the field, and then we have the ball to come out of halftime. We start off the second half of the ball. So number 1, we got to get off to a fast start. Number 2, we have to keep Tom Brady clean. Tom Brady has to get in that pocket. He's not going to roll out to the right. He's not going to roll out to the left. All that he's going to do is step up in the pocket. But he has to feel that the protection is there, where he can keep his eyes downfield, find an open receiver, and deliver accurate throw. So you got to keep Tom Brady clean. That's number 2. And last but not least, number 3, we have to win the penalty and the turnover battle. We cannot go out there and commit 12 penalties and, turn the ball over, and we just can't do it, man. So we got to win the turnover penalty battle. We got to keep Tom Brady clean, man, and we got to get off to a fast start. We do those things, I think we come back to Tampa with that W, man.
All right, my friend. As always, I want to thank you so very much for coming on tonight. It's always a pleasure. You have an open invitation anytime.
All right, let me tell everybody who I am, man. Listen, guys, Coach Bell, Buck Talk, Coach Bell Show. Every Sunday night, man, at 7 o'clock, right here, only on Crew Life. Now, when the Bucs play Monday, then I bump it up to Tuesday, okay? So whenever the Bucs play a Sunday game, then I'll be Sunday night. But they play a Monday game, I'm on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. I'll only come on the best, which is Crew Life, crewforlife.com, baby. And y'all make sure y'all check out my man, Larry Frankly Speaking Bucks, every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, right here on Crew Life. This is the Crew Life family, and it's your boy, Coach Bell. And as always,
one more time, Coach, just so they know, this Sunday, it's a 1 o'clock game, so you're going to be on 7 p.m. this Sunday on crewforlife.com.
Yes, sir. And as always, Buck Nation, stand up.
Good night, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
That was the great Coach Marvin Bell joining us live here on Pigskin Thursday. And I'll tell you what, there is, I love all my guests, but man, when he comes on, he just fires me up so much. And want to welcome Sam to the show. Sam, thank you so very much for joining us. For all of you fans just joining us right now, we just got done with Coach Marvin Bell. I am leaving a phone number up there. It's a call-in number. You want to ask a question about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the previous game or the upcoming game, there's the phone number, 813-922-9810. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. You can leave a comment like Sam and Tommy and Robbie and Brian all left so far on our great platform. Thank you all for joining us today. We love having you. We love talking football with you. And we're going to get more into this game as well, this Carolina Panthers versus your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to wait here a second, see if we get any comments, because we are going to do our picks tonight as well. So our picks are coming up shortly. For those of you that want to know our Week 10 NFL picks, right now on the year, we are 65-68, so just below 500. Remember, we pick against the points. We don't just pick who's going to win and who's going to lose. And on the bottom, you see scrolling through, you will see the actual point spreads, plus or minus, for each game, starting with tonight's, going all the way through Monday night's Minnesota at Chicago game. So, we'll leave the number up a couple of minutes. If you want to give us a quick call, get online, talk about the game. Sam just let us know that, and if you haven't heard yet, that McCaffrey will not be playing this weekend. That is correct, Sam. Christian McCaffrey will not be playing. We mentioned that earlier in the show. I want to make sure we mention that again for those of you that did join us after that. Christian McCaffrey is out for the game versus the Buccaneers on this upcoming Sunday. Well, why I leave the number on the phone line, let's go ahead and, and I see a message on Crew Life that came in. Unfortunately, I can't see the message. If Rob Thompson is looking on Crew Life, our great president, maybe you can push it over to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of those questions that do come on Crew Life, even if it means I have to stay on a couple of extra minutes in the show. But let's go ahead and take that down, and we're going to go ahead and start with this. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit for you. I'm getting real good with technology lately, so I think everybody should be able to see that now. Let me see if I can go a little bit big. Okay, hopefully everybody can see that. But give me 1 minute here. I believe we have and we'll get to the phone line in 1 minute here. But before we get to the phone line, let's do a couple of these picks real quick. Tonight, Indianapolis at Tennessee. Tennessee is -2 points. Frankly Speaking Sports went with the Tennessee Titans to cover the 2 points. And then before we get to Sunday night's game, I believe, according to my producer, we have somebody from St. Petersburg, Florida, on the phone to talk to us. Let's see who we got on the line here. Thank you for calling Frankly Sports. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to?
This is the Prez. I am calling in straight from Crewville, and I just want to talk to you guys and tell you guys are having a magnificent show tonight. You guys are the dynamic duo. I'm telling you guys are electric together. So what a great show.
Well, Rob, I want to thank you so much. Why we got you on the phone, Rob? A couple of things going on, but understand Crew Life's doing a special, is involved in a special, is it a Toy for Christmas drive? I'm not sure the exact wording of it, but why we have you on the phone? Are you able to explain that to our listeners?
Yeah, we're gonna be teaming up with What the Buck Really Matters, and we are going to be doing a toy drive for 2 games. It's going to be all the info is up on Crew Life. I don't have the exact games in front of me, but basically, we're asking people that are coming to the tailgate party on Ohio Avenue, bring unwrapped toys. We're going to be giving them to a charity to give to children. So I mean, it's a win-win. Coming to the party, bring the toys that we can give to the children, and again, we're teaming up. If you can't make it to the event, there's actually a link where you could go ahead and buy toys on Amazon, and it delivers right to the actual charity. So if those that want to help, please do so. Again, we're teaming up with What the Buck, and we're raising doing some great things with them for the children.
Now, Rob, once again, you said, I'm going to just quote you on two things. Number one, unwrapped, correct?
Yes, they cannot be wrapped. They have to be seen. It has to be new. It has to be brand new, because what they're going to do is they're going to put it into piles with, for the children's in different ages, so they can actually make sure it's gender specific and age specific. So yes, it has to be unwrapped and visible, so they could determine where it needs to go.
And they're able to spend whatever they want, or is there a limit that you're trying to keep, or it's whatever they like to donate?
It's whatever they would like to donate. And again, there's a link for the Amazon.
Okay.
If you're kind of looking for ideas that they put up that has stuff that, for those that aren't going to be able to make it to the tailgate party, and they still want to help out, there's a way to do it. And basically you choose something off of the wish list, and it automatically ships it to where they're taking the donations. So it's a win-win, and it's helping a great cause. It's getting some children some great toys that maybe they wouldn't get anything for Christmas.
And you talk about What the Buck, and you talk about Crew Life, and that's the thing about crewforlife.com and Crew Life, folks. When you talk about Crew Life, they're not just trying to make impression on people to come and listen to the shows, but we're trying to make a difference in the community. We want to be involved in the community. We want to help the community. We don't want to just be another group or another show. We want to be the community's group and the community show. So, the people know Crew for Life is here for you when you need us, and we want to be here for you. That's why we do these shows. We do these shows to take you away from the everyday distraction of life. And believe me, it's been a tough 2020 for a lot of people, but it's great groups like crewforlife.com that continually to give back to the communities that make people so very happy on a day in and a day out basis. So for that, Rob, we want to thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, it's not just us. I mean, there's some great organizations out there that we're so lucky to be friends with and teaming up with. The Leatherheads group, Sean Connor and his group has done some great things, and they're helping out with this as well. We're also teaming up with the Invasion. They're doing great things for Wheelchairs for Kids. We were lucky to do a watch party at the first game of the season with them over Dave & Buster's. And hopefully soon we're going to team up and do something big again with them. But again, everything they've been raising is going to Wheelchairs for Kids. So It's kind of a good thing that's going on right now. So, everybody that's, trying to do, use the platform for good, we're having fun with them. And we're doing, fun things, but also, like you said, we're raising some great money and gifts for those organizations. So it's been a fun ride. And, Larry, that first game of the season, but 250 people turned out and raised a lot of money. It was not just a great time. It was great for Wheelchairs for Kids.
Yeah, and we may all have a different group name, but at the end of the day, we are all one Bucks family, and that's what And I think every group will tell you that. We have different groups, we have different group names, but when it's coming together for a cause and doing what's right for the community, we're the Bucks family, and that's what's important.
You're 100% correct. I mean, we just came back from Vegas, and we went to a big watch party for the Raiders. And the Buckaholics, Mookie with the Buckaholics, they're raising money all season long through their whole organization for the Wounded Warrior program. And we were so happy to help them out, but not just help them out, but be there and see what they do. I mean, I tell everybody, like you just said, everybody has a different flag and they're flying it. But you know what? If it wasn't for the Buccaneers flag, there'd be no groups, and we couldn't do a lot of this great stuff and have awesome times and meet tons of great people. So it's been a great journey so far, and 2020 derailed a lot of plans, but it did not take away the spirit of the fans doing some good stuff, and it's been awesome.
Well, Rob, I want to thank you very much for calling in. We're going to go ahead and continue with our Week 10 picks so that we can wrap up this show.
I got one thing for you, Larry, before I let you go.
Sure.
Everybody to sit back. Buck Dad's going to put an article out about this. I want everybody to look at his article. I challenged them to look up all the games so far this season. And when you look at the Buccaneers' record and you look at Tom Brady's performance, it all comes down to with one thing. When the Buccaneers run the football, the Buccaneers win because Tom Brady's successful. When the Buccaneers don't run the football, Tom Brady's not successful when we lose those games. So it all dictates on play action. And with Tom Brady, you have to have play action and for us to be successful. That's my key of the game for this week against the Panthers. And I do think we're going to train those kiddies and put them in their place. But I just wanted to add that to you. And guys, you've had a great show, and I'm going to hang up and listen to the rest of the show.
All right, my friend. As always, thanks, and have a good night.
You too. Crew for life, baby.
Crew for life. All right, guys. That was a great Rob Thompson, the president of Crew Life. And you see our record up there. Frankly speaking, sports 65-68. We had a couple of rough weeks, like our Buccaneers over the past weeks. So we're looking to bounce back on as well. But if you look at the Philadelphia game, we already told you about Tennessee tonight. New York Giants, we picked, let me see if I can, there we go. All right. New York Giants, 3.5 points. We took the Giants in that game. Green Bay at Jacksonville. Green Bay is favored by 14. We have Green Bay covering. Also, you got the Lions at home versus the Washington football team. We took the Lions -4. Houston at Cleveland. We got Houston. Something about Houston starting to play better, and I talked about this last week in the second half. I don't think Cleveland is as good as the record is showing. I think Houston goes ahead and, Cleveland is favored by 3. I think Houston wins this game. Then comes the game that everybody is concerned about here in the Tampa Bay area. It's Tampa Bay at Carolina Panthers. I do not see, and I cannot see the Bucs losing another game this weekend. I believe the Buccaneers will bounce back. Tom Brady is great at bouncing back after tough games. They're going into Carolina. The Bucs are a 6-point favorite in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see Ronald Jones rush for 100 yards in this game, and you're going to see, I think you'll see well-balanced football in the passing game with Tom Brady hitting Gronk, hitting Brown, hitting Godwin, hitting Evans, and mixing the ball up very well versus this really not so good Carolina Panther defense. So I picked the Buccaneers. Then you got the Chargers at Miami, and I have to stop picking against Miami. So this week, this Miami team is starting to play great football. Tua, looked good last game. And not only about Tua, but this team is gaining confidence. And when you get a young team like the Miami Dolphins who start getting this momentum and are continuing to build this adrenaline and confidence, they become a very, very dangerous team. And I think they will handle the Chargers this week with the 2.5 point. They are 2.5 point favorite. Then you got Denver at Los Angeles Raiders. I got the Raiders. I think the Raiders should pretty much do very well and handle the Denver Broncos. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, guys. let's go ahead and remove that one. And then let's go to this one so we can go to the next half of the games. Let me bring this one up. All right. And then as we bring this one up here, let's get that off. You got Buffalo and Arizona. This could be the game of the week. This could honestly be the game of the week. I think Buffalo will beat Arizona, but this is going to be a good game. I think Allen, I don't know who's playing, who's not playing, but if it's Allen versus Murray, what a great, great game that is. Then you got Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's still undefeated and will still remain undefeated as they are 7.5-point favorites. Then you got San Francisco at New Orleans, and, here's a team coming off a big, big win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on primetime Sunday night versus a depleted San Francisco 49ers team, completely different team that went to the Super Bowl last year. I will definitely take the Saints as 9.5-point favorites. Then you got Seattle at the Los Angeles Rams. I'm picking Russell Wilson in that game. Then you got Baltimore, New England. I don't think there's a question in that one. New England, not a very good team. Baltimore playing great football. They will easily win by 7. And then the Monday night game is Minnesota at Chicago. I got the Bears. All right. They're actually underdogs in this game, 2.5, but I think the Bears will beat the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football. So there's our picks. We do have the point spreads on the bottom. So for those of you that want to look at that, got lots of messages now. Make sure, guys, a lot of things go on. They have on a Sunday, I believe they're doing another tailgate party. This Sunday we're in Carolina. I know on Ohio Street they do a big tailgate where it's $25, all you can eat food, all you can eat drinks. They got 100-inch TVs you can watch the game on and more. Lots of fun, prizes, camaraderie, just a great, great, great time there where, you can really, just meet some great people, that are Buck fans like yourselves. So I would definitely recommend coming out to that as I try to get this off the screen. All right, there we go. But there we go. Okay. And so make sure you come out to it's on Ohio Avenue. If you need more information, you can go to crewforlife.com. This is what it's being aired on. So most of you that are watching this show, somewhere on your page, you're going to see a crewforlife.com wording that you can type on and go ahead or tap on, and you get the link to crewforlife.com. Want to let you all know that, next week we'll be back again this Monday. Let me tell you what's going on. I know a lot of you are asking about next week's schedule, and this is our tentative schedule. For those of you that love the Frankly Sports, continue to watch the Frankly Sports on Crew Life, on Frankly Speaking Sports, all our shows. My buddy Coach Bell, who does a show on Sunday or Monday nights, depending on, when you got that kind of pull he has, man, I'll tell you what. But I'll tell you what, he does a great show, whether it's Sunday or Monday, and breaks it down. You got to watch that Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm looking forward to this Sunday. It's going to be right after the game. Coach is going to be fired up, win or lose. I'd rather him be fired up winning. But we're definitely looking forward to that show. Then Monday night, guys, as of now, former pitcher for the New York Mets, middle relief pitcher, Monday night, starting at 9 p.m., Jeff Innes. Jeff Innes was a pitcher for the Mets in the 80s, middle relief. Tuesday on our Bullseye platform, that's our USF platform, we're going to have basketball great. We've been a basketball theme the month of November. We're going to continue it. We're going to have the great Chucky Atkins, great USF ball player. Some say might be one of the best to ever go to USF. will be joining us on our USF platform. And then Wednesday night, back here on Crew Life. As of now, if you guys grew up a Twins fan or a Yankees fan, this guy's going to be a very special guest. And we'll still talk some Buccaneers. We'll still maybe talk some Rays. But we're going to have the great Chuck Knobloch, who played with the Yankees and the Twins, a couple other teams, joining us on Wednesday night. So that's Chuck Knobloch. I know a lot of you know that name. So we're looking forward to that. And then, of course, we wrap it up next Thursday again with our Pigskin Thursday program. Once again, we want to thank the great Coach Marvin Bell for joining us this evening. What a great time we had. What a great conversation talking football. We want to thank Rob Thompson, the president of crewforlife.com and president of Crew for Life. You know, we're all the crew. We're all one. We all come together. That's what we do. We're at Crew for Life. So we want to thank them as well. And, of course, thank Crew for Life for putting us on tonight on their great network, as always. Ladies and gentlemen, want everybody to have a great night, a better weekend. Let's get a W this weekend from both the USF Bulls and our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And let's have a happy Monday when we come back. To all, a good night and good night.